Well, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. Welcome to all my new subscribers. I finally reached 1,000. Yay! And welcome to all of my subscribers that have been with me from the very beginning. Hasn't quite been 12 months yet, but we're getting there. So, it's really fabulous to have you aboard. This is a quick video because I put up a video yesterday on doing a hem on the bias. So if you're interested in how to do a hem on the bias by yourself, because it is much easier if you've got someone with you that can pin up your hem. If you're by yourself, like I am, I don't have anybody who lives in my house that would be capable of pinning something up to the right level, then you need to have a method of how to do it. It does admittedly mean a lot of taking on and off, but if you're interested, pop over and have a look at that video. Well, today I thought I'd drop by and show you a vest that I made. Now, this is a vest pattern that I just made up. So I bought a metre of the boiled wool from Kristen at the Dahlia Sewciety. I must say her boiled wool is lovely. I've had other boiled wool before that's a bit scratchier, and other boiled wool before that was obviously not 100% wool because it frayed. You know, when you overlap the seams, it was fraying. And so if you're a neat freak, you're constantly trimming it. So that drives you crazy, but this fabric is not like that at all. And what I had in mind was I just decided that I'd make a vest. I just eyeballed how wide I would need it to be, that I wanted it to have a drop shoulder like it is. Just a basic vest shape, and to come into a slight V here, no join in the front, but it does have plenty of room for me to actually put buttons on it if I wanted to. And being a boiled wool, I've probably got about 20 centimeters of the fabric left. So it probably took 80 centimeters to make. So it really just took the length of it. And I thought, oh, if at a later stage I wanted to put buttons on it, I could just interface a piece, sew it in behind and do buttons and buttonholes on it. But at the moment, I'm quite happy to leave it open like that. Now, the reason I had the idea of making a vest was when I was at Sewciety with Katrina and Deb, I had seen this product, which is a fold over, it's got fluff on it, a fold over woolen, well, a tape, I suppose, a knit tape, a wool tape. So I saw that. They didn't have any black in stock. And it was quite pricey. I think it was like $16.95 a metre. And when we were down the back trying on the clothes that they have for you to try on down the back of Sewciety, they had vests there and they had this binding on the edge. And Deb said that she had made one of those and it was very nice. And I thought, oh, that's a lovely idea. And so then I bought the boiled wool and thought, I'm just going to eyeball this and make it a vest. And then I realized I would need about 5 meters of the tape. Well, that was going to cost so much money that I looked on Etsy and I got a roll of 5 meters for I think $8.95 or $12.95 plus $4.85 postage. So much cheaper. You obviously only do get what you pay for. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's got fluff stuck on it, if I need to de-pill this at some stage. The quality looks okay at the moment. You can see that it's really got its own self-fold going on. It's a little bit squiggly on this end because that's how it came rolled up. In one big, in fact, I think it was folded in half and rolled. So it was folded on its fold line and rolled up into a big long reel. Now that I bought 5 meters and that's all I've got left. So I honestly would have had to buy 5 meters from Sewciety, but very happy with this vest. How good does that look? The only thing I would say is I did not put a seam down the back, and next time I would, because I'm probably a hunchback, and so if I had a seam down the back, I would be able to shape the top of the back a little bit. But the rest of it, if you pull it forward, it's okay. I'm really, really happy with it. Sits really nicely. Was very, very easy to make. Sewed the shoulder seams. Then I marked where I wanted the armhole to start. And then I sewed the binding on while the seam was actually open. So when the side seams here were open, so I've only just done that. Normal seam, don't have to finish it off because it's boiled wool, so it's not going to fray or anything. So while the side seams were open, I sewed the tape down to where I want it to be, and then I sewed the side seam together, and that saved me having to join the tape under the arms. So it was really a good method to use that I could sew that tape all in one piece because it's already enclosed all the edges. So really, really happy with this vest. Happy with the pattern that I made up. And really it's just basically squares practically. And I knew I wanted it to have a drop shoulder. I didn't want it to be a vest that came to here. Gives a bit of added warmth. So absolutely thrilled to bits with it, and very, very nice fabric. Not sure how the binding will go, but only get what you pay for. Now, the other thing that I bought when I bought the boiled wool from Kristen is the Seasons of East pattern, which is Summer in New York. Now, if anybody's been watching Adele from Sewing for Serenity, you will have seen her beautiful Summer in New York dress that she made. Now, she made it out of, I think it's a viscose linen, and it's a Lady McElroy, and it's the ladies in the lake, or ladies of the lake. Absolutely beautiful. She looks absolutely fabulous in it. It's a very slimming dress, a very slimming dress. And, you know, I'm in a mind to just get exactly the same fabric and just copy her. But really, really beautiful. And it really looks lovely on her. So let's have a look. So it comes in this fabulous calico bag. So this band was around the top of it. This bag was folded down. Fabulous calico bag. What quality? Really a very, very heavy calico. And you can put all your pattern pieces back in there once you're finished. Really, really great. So this is the pattern. When you see it on people, so go over by all means and have a look at Sewing for Serenity and have a look at Adele's dress on her. It sort of looks like it's got a little bit of gathering under the bust, but it doesn't. It is batwing, so I want to say batwing, but maybe not so much batwing. It is the sleeves and the bodice are all one piece. This is the lovely photo inside the book. So I actually thought it had gathering under the bust, because that's sort of how it looks. It just creates its own lines up to under your bust. I'll show you the pattern pieces, and it's quite a pencil skirt. So that's better one of the line drawings. So you can see it's only made up of front bodice, front skirt, back skirt. There, and it's got a side zip. It's got a zip in the side. So that's not a pull over your head job because it's got a pencil skirt. So most things I can actually get over my head. All of my Armadale dresses and all that sort of thing, I stitch them closed because I can easily get them over my head. Not very many pattern pieces, just the 4 pattern pieces. And 1 side zip. They call for an invisible zip, but of course, if you don't want to do an invisible zip, you don't have to do an invisible zip. If you can do a lap zip, the only thing with a lap zip is the lap should always be going to the back. So if you were putting it on your left-hand side, which is generally, I'm assuming that's where they're telling you to put it, but generally I would put a side zip in the left-hand side. I would put a side zip in a skirt in the left-hand side also. I don't know why, because it's harder to do up if you're right-handed. Well, it doesn't even make sense. But if you're doing a lap zip and you're doing it on your left-hand side, your flap or lap piece needs to be at the front so that it's going towards the back. And that's the same with everything. So when you're thinking about right over left, it's always the same thing. So right over left here, right over left here. And as my sewing teacher, really lovely guy he was, when I did fashion design school, said, you can always remember that women are right over left because women are always right. How right was he? So it does have a zip. This is the pattern. So quite a good quality paper. All of the sizes are in here. Looks like they're very easy to see. Now let's have a look at the sizes. Now this is not in centimetres. Comes out of the UK and it's not in centimetres. Okay. Maybe it is in the book. No, it's not in the book either. That's weird. Okay, so we're going to do it in inches. So it goes from a size 8, which is a 33 inch bust, right up to a size 26, which is a 52.5 inch bust. So good size range, really good size range. Now the hips in the size 8 are a 37 inch, and the hips in the size 26 is a 56.5 inch. Now, what I did notice about this, because I have looked at the sizing on it before, was let's take, for instance, a size 12. Size 12 is a 37 bust, and its finished measurement is a 42 inch bust. So you've got 5 inches of ease in that bust. The waist for a size 12 is a 30 inch, and the finished measurement for the waist is a 34 inch. So you've got 4 inches of ease in the waist. So the hips for the size 12 are a 41 inch, and the finished measurement for the hips is a 42 inch. So you've only got 1 inch of ease in the hip measurement. And I'd have to say, that is the same for every single size. There is only 1 inch of ease in the hip. So it's going to be okay for someone like me because I'm much narrower in the hip than I am in the bust and the waist. So, but if you're a person, so if you were making this before you cut into your beautiful precious fabric, you would need to remember to check your hip measurements, because it is a pencil skirt. It does have side splits so that you can easily walk. I don't think it's supposed to be ultra tight, but if you've got a much bigger bum and all that sort of thing, I would certainly be measuring myself and then measuring the pattern pieces to make sure I have got plenty of room, because you can always take it in, but what are you going to do if it's too small? Like, use more fabric and add on to the sides of the skirt or the center back of the skirt. It's not going to look as nice. So just be very wary of that. Because it's quite generous in the top with its ease, it's not as generous in the hips, which I suspect means right down to your bum and the tops of your legs. Depending what body shape you are, you really may need to check that. Don't want people to cut into their beautiful fabric, or even, I guess, make up a toile of just the skirt part and make sure it's going to fit you. Make sure you're comfortable with how fitted it is, because you can always make that skirt bigger. You can still make that skirt bigger and make it fit onto the bodice. That would not be a problem with this type of pattern. It's not a waist that looks like it's at your actual waist. It's a slightly high-waisted. I don't want to say empire line. That girl doesn't have terribly much of a bust. I don't want to say empire line, but I think it's not on your waist. So if you were very pear-shaped, you probably get away with changing the skirt to be a bigger size. And I'll tell you who else made one. Gabrielle from Cloth Edit. Now, Gabrielle from Cloth Edit made hers in a linen fabric. So it looks very, very different to Adele's. Both worth going and having a look at. Hers is in a gorgeous fabric too. A black and white with a little tiny splash of yellow in it. Very, very pretty fabric. And it looks very nice on Gabrielle as well. I tell you what Gabrielle did say. She said that it recommends fabric requirements. So it says, if your fabric is 45 inches or 115 centimeters wide, or if it's 60 or 150 centimeters wide, you need 3 meters. And I think she said her fabric was 135 wide and she got it out of 2 meters. Because you know the method of folding your selvages into the center. So that rather than having your 2 selvages together, you folded one selvage into the center, the other selvage into the center on the other side, and that means that you can cut both of those pieces on the fold. So that's just something else to remember. I would actually be measuring this pattern up before I buy fabric. I don't want to buy 3 meters of fabric and only need 2. And you can see here's the layout, and what they've got is, as you'll see, the top one's on a 60 or 150 centimeters wide, which a lot of fabrics are now. And depending what size you make, see this piece here could have come up there. So if you'd cut those bodices out, and then you've got your long pieces here, if you fold that center of the selvage, that edge of the selvage to the center here, and the same on the other side, you can get 2 cuts on the fold, which is going to be far more cost effective if you can get it out of less fabric. So that's just something to remember. You might want to measure what you're going to make, measure your pattern pieces, see the very widest point, and see if you can get it out of 2 meters rather than 3. Now, Gabrielle said it's quite a long dress. It's not that you won't need to add anything onto it. She left hers that long. It's got side splits, side zipper. Can't wait to make it. I really would just love to copy off what Adele had. I will leave a link to Adele's Summer in New York dress, and I will leave a link to Gabrielle's Summer in New York dress. They're both vlogs, so it should come up on YouTube if I can get the link right. And yeah, both really beautiful, so I'm very excited to make this dress. Won't be making it to take to Tasmania, unfortunately, because I'm not taking any dresses or any skirts. It's going to be absolutely freezing. Now, I have had another fitting with the wedding dress, and so now we're up to the part where we're going to make the train that is really, really long into a train that is much shorter. So I'll take you with me on that in the next 10 days. Don't know if I'll get it finished before I go on holidays, but that's okay. and mother of the groom dropped her fabric off for me. Oh, well, one of her daughters dropped it off for me. But I haven't tried on her toile. I actually made a pattern for the style of dress that she wanted. I scrummaged around and found some lace that she wanted across the shoulders, across the shoulder straps, but it's white, and it's cotton, so I'll dye it. And yes, I'll let you know how I get on with that. Everybody have a fabulous, safe sewing week. I'll see you all next time. Bye.